The stretch big is an extremely unique position that has evolved in the NBA over the past 30 years or so, but not without pushback. Most coaches in the 70s and 80s would throw a fit if the big man took a shot further than the mid-range, as they felt that the tallest players should be closer to the basket. But as more international players, especially Europeans, came into the league, the new finesse big grew in popularity. While most of them lacked elite strength or athletic ability, they made up for it with their shooting, passing, and basketball IQ. Players like Toni Kukoc and Arvydas Sabonis were two great examples of this. Coaches then started to realize the advantages of a stretch big. Dragging the opposing big man out to the three-point line opens the court and creates a mismatch, as most bigs aren't comfortable defending on the perimeter. Some of the best players at this position could include Bob McAdoo, Perkins, Dirk Nowitzki, and Karl-Anthony Towns. But there was one player during the late 70s and early 80s that had a unique offensive game that was ahead of his time: Sikma. He was 7 feet tall with a great mid-range jumper, along with the patented reverse pivot fadeaway in the post, simply called the move. In his prime, he was also an excellent passer and rebounder, even playing solid defense. Even in the last years of his career, Jack would expand his range beyond the three-point line in an era that still wasn't used to seeing shooting bigs. He was a 7-time All-Star and NBA champion, but he flies under the radar to a lot of NBA fans. Welcome to Peasy Hoops, and let's get down to it. Sikma was born on November 14, 1955 in Kankakee, Illinois. As he grew up, he lived in Whitehurst, Illinois, attending St. Anne High School. Jack was a guard his first 3 years of high school before he had a massive growth spurt. He was 6'10" going into his senior season. As a senior, he led his team to a 4th place finish in the state tournament, averaging 25 points in 4 games. Despite having several Division I offers, Jack decided to play his college ball at Illinois Wesleyan University, an NAIA school that would allow him to play immediately as a freshman. He also had a close relationship with the coach, Denny Bridges, and he liked that Illinois Wesleyan still had several Division I schools on their schedule. Jack averaged 15 points and 11 rebounds as a freshman. After his freshman season, he would begin to dominate the NAIA level. He averaged 21.2 points and 13.1 rebounds over his college career. He would win the Conference Player of the Year 3 times and become a member of the Small Schools Basketball Hall of Fame. Coming into the 1977 NBA draft, Sikma was seen as a lottery prospect, but was also considered an unknown quantity because he played in the NAIA, citing weaker levels of competition. Despite this, he was drafted 8th overall by the Seattle Supersonics. The Supersonics had just come off the tenure of NBA legend Bill Russell as the head coach and GM, posting a 40-42 record and missing the playoffs. Sikma came into a team that featured Dennis Johnson, a promising two-way combo guard that was just coming into his own, Gus Williams, a great scorer and passer at the point, Fred Brown, a high-scoring guard that was an all-star 2 years before, and Marvin Webster, another 7-footer with potential. The addition of Sikma helped Seattle become one of the best teams in the West under new coach Lenny Wilkins, posting a 47-35 record along with finishing 2nd in points allowed and 3rd in defensive rating. As a rookie, Jack averaged 10.7 points and 8.3 rebounds on 45% shooting, making the all-rookie first team and finishing 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. The Supersonics faced the Lakers in the first round of the 1978 playoffs. This was a Lakers team that included Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Adrian Dantley, Jamal Wilkes, Kermit Washington, and Norm Nixon. Sikma put up 13 points and 9 rebounds in Game 1, helping his team win 102-90. In the series clinching Game 3, Jack put up 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 9 for 15 from the field and 6 for 6 from the foul line. The defending champion Trailblazers were up next in the second round, as they had the league MVP Bill Walton, All-Star Orlando Hollins, and All-Star Maurice Lucas. The Sonics overcame the Blazers in 6 games, as Sikma averaged 14 points and 9 rebounds for the series. The Nuggets were next in the conference finals, featuring superstar guard David Thompson along with Dan Issel and Bobby Jones. The Sonics would win this series in 6 games, with Sikma averaging 11 points and 7 rebounds. Even though the Sonics were a good team, nobody expected them to make the finals this year. Now they faced the Washington Bullets, who were a stacked team with the star frontcourt duo of Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld, the sweet shooting forward Bob Dandridge, and star guard Phil Chenier. The Sonics came into Game 6 with a 3-2 series lead, but were blown out by 35 points. Elvin Hayes posted 21 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks, while Sikma fouled out in 29 minutes, only posting 5 points and 9 boards. The Bullets pulled pulled out a close win in Game 7, winning the title as Sikma averaged 14 points and 8 rebounds. In the second season, Jack became the full-time starting center for the Sonics and his production took off, averaging 15.6 points, 12.4 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game on 46% from the field, finishing 7th in MVP voting. He recorded 22 20-point games along with 5 games of 20-plus rebounds. Sikma, along with Dennis Johnson, both made their first All-Star game this season as the Sonics went 52-30, the best record in the Western Conference. The Sonics were the best defensive team in the league, allowing the least points per game, also finishing first in defensive rating. They faced the Lakers again in the semifinals, easily winning in 5 games, but they had a real test with the Phoenix Suns, who were dynamic offensively with 20-point scorers Paul Westphal and Walter Davis, along with a solid front court in Alvin Adams and Trunk Robinson. Sikma posted a playoff career high in Game 7, with 33 points and 11 rebounds to lead the Sonics to a 4-point victory and another finals appearance. The Sonics faced a familiar foe in the Washington Bullets, but they would win the series in 5 games, with Sikma averaging 16 points and 15 rebounds along with 3 blocks. Dennis Johnson would win the finals MVP, averaging 22, 6, and 6. In year 3, it was more of the same with Sikma as he averaged 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists, making the All-Star game again as the team went 56-26, easily getting past the Trailblazers in the first round. They won a tough 7-game series against the Bucks in the second round as they featured Marcus Johnson, Bob Lanier, and a young Sidney Moncrief. The Sonics faced the Lakers in the conference finals, who now had Magic Johnson running the show, and they were outmatched completely, losing in 5 games. By 1981, Dennis Johnson was traded to the Phoenix Suns, and Jack Sikma was now the lone young star on the team, as former foe Paul Westphal had joined them. And second-year guard Vinnie Johnson started to improve offensively. Sikma averaged 19 points and 10 rebounds a game on 45% shooting, making the All-Star game again, but the Sonics' offense was atrocious, ranking 3rd last in points per game and 4th last in pace, finishing 34-48, missing the playoffs. The Sonics improved a lot next season, ending with a 52-30 record. Sikma increased his output again, averaging 20 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 assists, as his teammates Gus Williams and Lonnie Shelton were having the best seasons of their careers, as the Sonics sent 3 players to the All-Star game. They got past the Rockets in the first round, but they lost to the George Gervin-led Spurs in 5 games, as Sikma averaged 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists for the series. In 1982, the Sonics traded for Nuggets star David Thompson, even though his addiction issues made him a shell of himself. Even still, Sonics sent him, Gus, and Jack to the All-Star game that season. Sikma became the model of consistency, averaging 18 points and 11 rebounds. The Sonics finished 48-34, but they were swept in the first round by the Trailblazers, with Sikma averaging 15 points, 13 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. In the offseason, they traded for high-scoring forward Tom Chambers from the San Diego Clippers. Sikma averaged 19 points and 11 rebounds in 1983. As the Sonics went 42-40, they lost in the first round to the Mavericks in 5 games, with Jack averaging 22 points and 10 rebounds in the series. The Sonics struggled mightily as they had the league's worst offense. Even though Sikma averaged 18.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 4 assists, the Sonics went 31-51, missing the playoffs. Even though they drafted Xavier McDaniel with the 4th pick in 1985, the team didn't do enough to address their offensive woes. Sikma averaged 17 points and 9 rebounds as he failed to make the All-Star game for the first time in 7 years. While the Sonics missed the playoffs again, going 31-51. In 1986, Sikma was tired of losing and he requested a trade from the Sonics. He was eventually traded to the Bucks for Alton Lister and 2 first-round picks. Milwaukee had a nice team led by Don Nelson as they featured Sidney Moncrief, Terry Cummings, Paul Pressey, Ricky Pierce, and Craig Hodges. Sikma's offensive production decreased as he was surrounded by multiple double-digit scores. Sikma averaged 13 points and 10 rebounds, his lowest scoring average since his rookie year. The Bucks finished 50-32, getting past the Barkley-led 76ers in 5 games in the first round. They even took the Larry Bird Celtics to 7 games in the semifinals before they lost, as Sikma averaged 18 points and 10 rebounds in the series. In 1987, the Bucks moved 7'3" Randy Brewer to the center spot, moving Sikma to the 4, but Milwaukee was still just an average team at this point, going 42-40. Sikma averaged 16 points and 8.5 rebounds a game, leading the league in free throw percentage. This is still the only time in NBA history that a big led the league in this category. The Bucks lost in the first round in 5 games to the Atlanta Hawks, as Sikma averaged 19 points and 12 rebounds. Sikma had become just a regular starter at this point in his career, averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds on 43% shooting. He introduced a new aspect to his game though, a three-point shot, taking 216 threes and making 82 of them, good enough for 38%. Most teams would sag off of him when he caught the ball at the three-point line, but he made them pay. Sikma was one of the pioneers for big men extending their range out to the three-point line. Sidney Moncrief had become a shell of himself by this point and was barely a factor defensively anymore with all the knee injuries he had. The Bucks went 49 and 33 in 1988, getting their revenge on the Hawks in 5 games, but getting swept by the bad boy Pistons, while Sikma only averaged 9 points and 4 rebounds for the series. In 1989, the Bucks traded their star forward Terry Cummings to the Spurs for defensive juggernaut Alvin Robertson. Terry was blindsided by this as the Bucks didn't inform him about the trade. Sikma had further developed his three-pointer, taking 199 threes and making 68 of them, good enough for 34%. He averaged 13 points a game, but due to his new floor spacing role, he averaged a career-low 7 rebounds and shot his lowest field goal percentage at 42%. The Bucks were still a middle-of-the-road team, finishing 44 and 38 before falling 3-1 in the first round to the Bulls, as Sikma averaged 5 points and 3.5 rebounds on 26% from the field and 28% from 3. As the 90s started, the Bucks acquired proven scorers Adrian Dantley and Dale Ellis. Even though Dantley was on his last legs, 35-year-old Sikma was put in a reserve role for the first time in his career. He was solely a floor spacer, as 20% of his shot attempts were threes, but he shot a respectable 34%. He averaged 10 points and 6 rebounds this season, as the Bucks finished 44 and 38, losing in a 3-game sweep to the Sixers. Sikma would retire after this season. In 14 years in the NBA, Sikma averaged 15.5 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 3.2 assists on 46% shooting, 33% from 3, and 85% from the line. He was a 7-time All-Star and NBA champion, All-Rookie team, All-Defensive team, definitely one of the pioneers of the center position. From 2003 to 2007, Sikma was an assistant coach for the Supersonics. In June 2007, he was hired by the Rockets as an assistant coach under Rick Adelman. Among his duties was tutoring center Yao Ming in big man playing strategies. In December 6, 2011, he joined Adelman's staff as he became the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Beginning in 2017, Sikma acted as a coaching consultant for the Toronto Raptors, mainly working with Jonas Valanciunas. Jack's son, Luke, a 6'8" forward, played college ball at Portland University and is currently playing professionally in Greece. Sikma would change the landscape of the NBA for years to come, as teams started to look at more skilled bigs who could pass, rebound, and shoot. Proteges like Dirk Nowitzki and Kevin Love would take his blueprint to the next level. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for watching this video. I just wanted to go over somebody who was really underrated during their time, somebody who definitely changed the game. Even though he might not get credit for it, he changed the game, definitely. Was one of the first bigs to really prioritize shooting and offense, and one of the first real finesse bigs in the league. Thank you, I really appreciate you guys. Leave a like if you enjoy, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Appreciate all the support. Thank you, please be safe. I'm out, peace.